Okay, so
Well, welcome. You are our first guest.
yes.
We're super excited. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone else wants to wait until April.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, Alisa Marie, why is your family going first? I don't know.
hey, I think you ought to have Stacy Parsons Pretty on here.
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
yeah.
She would be a good one.
Oh, yeah. Um, we got, who did we got? We got Katie coming. Jacqueline said yes. She
Yeah.
hadn't booked a time yet.
Yeah.
So,
Wonder what she'll talk about.
y-
Probably. I'll wait to hear what her pacers say. Oh, there are rebuttal shows. So if she's like going, there's an after show at that. If you're like, oh, it didn't happen that way, we are going to have a rebuttal show.
So when you do Jackie,
yeah.
tell her I'll
So, you-
know where my gloves are.
Okay.
What she says.
yeah. Okay.
So,
Well, Scott Hagerty, welcome to this podcast. So,
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
we are very curious about if you can beat Lisa Marie's score from last week because that was terrible. That was. I know you probably won't have the same travel cost and the same travel time as she did.
well, we don't know.
We don't know. So, should we get started?
We shall see.
Okay.
So, I'm just curious about your running time.
I am calling it 22 hours even.
Okay, 22.
Ooh.
That's good. And how much travel time did you have?
I'm going to call it 12 hours and 15 minutes.
Okay, that was easy. I like people that do quarterly hours. Okay, that was not bad. You have a time score of 0.64, so you spend more than half the time running compared to traveling. That's good. That's good.
So far, so good.
So far, so good. So what was your race fee for this race?
All right, Ultra Sign Up says it was $166.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Hey, it's a
Like
good
that.
thing you can go back and look at your receipts on there because I
Yeah.
would have had no clue.
They have a whole history of all the money
Right,
you
good.
wasted.
Some things my wife does not need to know about.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-uh.
Yeah. All she needs to see is the registration. She doesn't need to see the confirmation.
Right.
She just needs to see, congratulations, you've signed up to do something stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was your travel cost on this?
You know, I'm calling it $125.
Wow. Very financially responsible.
So you drove.
I'm a cheapo, man. Frugal. Yeah.
Frugal. There we go.
Frugal, yes. What did you spend on nutrition?
We'll go with about $60.
See?
I have heard that number before. It seems to be a stable. But I guarantee this was probably more than 30 miles. So what do you spend on
The aid station food, though.
Oh. What about shoes? How much do you spend on shoes?
You know, after your explanation, I'm going to prorate that a little bit because I actually just looked and saw how many miles are on those shoes.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to say $65.
Not bad.
What kind of shoe was that?
Well, that's because I told people if they used it for more than one race, they should just kind of split it up because they don't pay the whole.
Still, what kind of shoe is it?
It was the Ultra Olympus.
Oh, one of your favorites
Maybe.
on your wish list. And then, what on the essentials? What did you spend on that? And what were your essentials?
I'm going to go with $50 for essentials.
Wow, that's nice.
What'd you spend it on?
Most of that was on a raincoat that was 50% off on my way to the race.
What kind of coat was that? Was that farmer's market or tractor supply?
Believe it or not, it's a John G.
Oh,
Okay.
really?
Oh,
Yeah. And like I said, it was 50% off clearance, so
that's good.
that was nice.
I understand about the coupons, and these days you have to have all the coupons and discounts, and especially with this sport,
Yeah.
It helped.
it helps.
So your score on the cost is 0.35. So that means that just over a third of your cost was actually the race fee.
Right.
You need to pick some more expensive races.
Oh, I have.
Let's bring the score up a little bit so it matches us. Okay. So was this a timed race or a fixed distance?
Fixed the distance.
Okay. You already know 22 on the finishing time. And what about the goal time?
Going with 30 hours.
Holy smokes!
Your goal, that was your goal?
That was my goal.
Wow, okay. And what was the time limit? Cutoff
I
time?
know what I was getting into.
No.
Um, Time limit on that race is 32 hours for the final cutoff.
Okay. You did very well. You did a 0.44.
Well,
So you need to adjust your goal time a little bit because you underestimate yourself.
how does the DNF figure into that, though?
Um, DNF, technically, you have to make a combination of mileage and time. So basically, your finishing time and the time limit is the same, but it goes on a timed race instead. So now we're going to how many miles did you do in that time?
So I ended with 60 miles in 22 hours.
Okay, so we just change that to 60 miles up here. And it was it a 100-mile race?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so that was a 0.375. So you didn't fare very well on that. But you got 2/3 of it.
Yeah,
It's not so bad. I'm just going to clean out here. So it's easier. So,
I am so lost to what race this is going to be. So
okay.
this is like my brother right here while we're waiting on Renee. This is like the closest thing I have to a brother.
Your return on investment was 0.45. So that's actually good.
That's better than me.
It's a lot better than you.
Yeah, I stepped in a lot of things, but some of them weren't poo.
Oh,
Ooh,
so what did you step in?
Yeah, listen to that first one.
Oh, okay. That's not.
well,
Now I'm intrigued.
I'm taking over this part because I want to know all the details, all the fun stuff.
So we go with the 8th state.
The aid station. What did you give it? 1 through 10.
Their aid stations are a solid 9.
Ooh,
Okay.
why?
The food options, the drink options were great, and the volunteers were over the top good. They were just having a party,
Okay.
taking great care of everybody.
That sounds like a good race.
It does.
Yeah.
I might want to run that race. So, how about the fun factor?
6.
A 6. Why?
Because it was some of the worst kind of type 2 fun ever.
Type 2 fun. What is that?
Type 2 fun.
I mean, I know what type 2 diabetes is, but what's
It's
type 2 fun?
a whole lot more fun when you're done with it
Oh, I see.
Get it?
Okay.
than it was at the time.
Well, did you laugh at yourself or laugh at anybody else?
Oh, you had to.
Yeah.
Did everything. I mean,
Were there
yeah.
were there any shenanigans going on?
Um, I wouldn't necessarily say any shenanigans were going on. No.
Okay.
Okay, how were the trail markings?
8.
8.
8?
If
You know it. That's good.
down there at this race, you have really messed yourself.
Now I'm kind of jealous.
So were they markings on trees? Were they in the ground?
Yes, yes, and yes. They were everywhere.
Oh, that's good.
So you just couldn't get lost.
The pre-race meeting at Packet Pickup was over an hour long. The race director explaining the signage for the race on the trail.
Ultra running for dummies.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Okay.
Very comprehensive.
Okay. I think that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is good.
Yeah.
So what
There's
about the
no-
weather?
There's no excuse to come back and complain.
Yeah,
The weather,
the weather.
solid 2.
Wow. I want to hear a story on this. You know how I love weather.
What was the weather, really? Since you gave it a
Rain.
Well, rain?
Right?
Rain and more rain.
Okay. Was there any rain?
2 hours, and it rained solid for 20 of those.
Ooh, that sounds fun. Did you get muddy?
No.
Nope. Did you fall?
Oh, yeah. At one point, I fell. I went down on my rear end. My hat flipped off. I got up and went, oh crap, my glasses are gone.
Oh, no.
We're in leaves. And I'm like, oh shoot. I can't see very well, and I hope I can find my glasses by feel without crushing them. And so I grabbed my hat, put it on my head, and then realized my glasses were inside of my hat.
But that was lucky. That was lucky.
Extremely lucky.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because even if they had a 1 hour pre-race briefing, finding your way without glasses could be pretty bad.
Yeah, especially as the sun was starting to go down.
Yeah. So was it a hot race, a cold race?
You definitely needed a light jacket, which is where that clearance raincoat came in.
Ah,
Shorts. I mean, it was shorts the whole time, so it was not a miserable cold ordeal.
right.
Just very wet.
Just very, very.
So you could bring it up to a 3 then.
You're some kind of weirdo at a race.
Well, you know who would have given this weather a 10? She would. She would have given it a 10.
Running, not ultra swimming.
But you should see her when we're out, and if she finds mud, I can guarantee you, even if I run past the mud pile, she is going to make sure I get kicked on or anything. She loves mud. Yeah.
So, did you have any pacers?
No pacers.
So you paced yourself. So you give yourself a 0 there?
0 on there.
How about a crew?
0 on crew.
Oh, you crewed yourself then.
I was solo.
Oh,
So when you took off your sock, did when you crewed yourself, was it okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I managed to do that on my own for a change.
So that brings me to my next question. Did you have any blisters, any chafing, any bobos, any
None of that.
what?
oh,
Water and mud is amazing lubricant.
that's.
This is my shocked face.
We need to run more mud races.
I mean, it was at a point when I finally quit that, well, I missed the cutoff at that particular aid station, but the mud had filtered into my shoes underneath your foot, so it feels like your front of your foot is like on top of an 1.5 inch
Oh,
clay.
Yep.
oh, we know that.
That really fine. It just builds up in there.
So you're
Of course, I had taped my feet. I learned my lesson down in Louisiana on that one. Won't make that mistake ever.
I bet.
Even if they call for rain, I'm taping my feet no matter what. But of course, the tape came off, so I thought it was just, the tape balled up underneath the bottom of my foot.
Oh,
At the end, when I finally took those shoes off, I went, "Oh, that's a lot of mud right there."
wow. Okay. Yeah.
So I mean, you had to have had some fun in that, right? The sliding into, the challenge of staying upright.
It was definitely type 2 fun,
Yeah. So, I mean, you could get prepared to ski.
where I was never so happy in my life to have poles.
Right.
So you were skiing.
Basically, yes. I mean, there were hills you had to try to make it up to, and if it wasn't for those poles, you were not getting up that hill.
Wow. Okay.
You'd have to set the poles in the dirt, and then just basically put your foot up to it, and then set the next foot to it.
That will slow you down.
Get to an aid station.
That will slow you down.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yep.
and you could not skip that aid station because that little leg was part of the course up to it. So devious race directors, they know what they're doing.
They do. They do.
Yeah.
Of course, they were being really nice to their volunteers as well.
That's good.
Just paved parking lot right there. They didn't have to slop around in the mud in the aid station.
So I'm guessing you're giving it a 10 since you didn't have any
Yes.
nasty blisters. Oh,
I still have that shock look. Uh, so trail nap comfort, that can mean one or two things in my world. It's, did you fall or did you take a nap on this trail?
I only fell once and I didn't take any naps.
Let's hear about that fall. Let's hear more about that.
That was the one where I went down and lost my glasses. So
Right.
that was basically the only fall, believe it or not, of that entire 60 miles out there. But yeah, I mean, you go down,
Yeah.
yeah.
you get up, you shake it off, look around, see who saw it.
Making sure there was no mobile phones filming.
Okay, so what about your mental state?
Oh, I need the score.
Oh, the score. Yeah, the trail nap score. How was that fall? How would you rate that fall?
I'm going to have to rate it about an 8.
Oh, it's a good fall.
That's a big one.
Spectacularness. Nothing hurt but my pride.
Okay, so now what about your mental state? Did you get frantic? Did you have songs repeating in your head?
Grumpy.
Grumpy.
I'm going to go with a 4 on that.
Okay.
Why?
Rain.
Just the rain that did the whole thing was just the rain.
Yes.
Yes.
It ruined the entire experience.
Okay. Were there any mosquitoes or anything? Any wildlife?
Nope.
No.
A bunch of ultra runners out there slogging around in the mud.
Okay. Well, then how about hallucinations?
The wildlife came after I left the race, and 2 wild pigs ran into my car.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Driving down about 30 mile an hour down the park road headed out, and I saw 2 figures in the ditch in my headlights. And first thing you think is deer, of course,
Yeah.
but then I realized, well, they're way too short to be deer. And then it was like, oh, they're pigs. Right into the side of my car.
Did they survive?
Oh, I'm sure they did. They didn't need to leave a dent in my car, so
Oh, okay.
wasn't that catastrophic.
I don't know. I feel like that when I called you recently that you were cooking bacon. Just saying. Uh-huh.
Getting even.
Okay, so there was no hallucinations at all?
No hallucinations.
You're sure that that was pig?
Oh, I've never had a hallucination at a race, ever.
Oh, we got to change that.
Get that changed.
Possibly an auditory hallucination when I ran Outlaw that last time.
Right.
I'm not sure whether it was really a female voice I heard and another racer, or if it was a hallucination. So it could have been either.
Well, there's a family of 5 that stands there in shorts in the middle of the window winter holding up Wendy's bags. You probably heard her.
Maybe
Maybe.
they were out in the middle of nowhere if they.
Um, so how about the race versus description?
The race lived up to the described hype. To be honest with you, when I reveal what race it is, you'll understand.
Okay. So give us your race report. I mean, an in-depth, what actually happened on
So
your
that
race?
was a solid 10 on the race versus
Yeah.
description.
Sorry about that.
Okay, then.
So what do you want to reveal before telling us anything? Talk about your race.
Fantastic race. Overall, I would definitely recommend anybody go down and try it. Um, the race company is very experienced and do an extremely good job of taking care of the runners.
That's important.
They seem to be able to roll with any difficulties that pop up here and there. But honestly, at this race, I didn't see anything that you would call a hiccup at all.
Wow.
Okay.
The trail down there, they utilize a little bit of everything, but most of it was all single track, very winding, uh, beautiful rocks, an amazing lake along different areas. Overall, I mean, it was just an amazing race, and I really hope to go back down there and run it when the weather's better.
I think I have an idea which race this is.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay.
So would you like to reveal this race?
No, first we score.
Got to go over the numbers.
Yeah. So on the experience side, you gave it a score of 5.7, which is good, a little over half. Clearly, the weather dragged it down, and
And the grumpiness.
The grumpiness at the weather.
and your overall UTI score is 0.58. And again, we don't know if that means anything, but it's better than what she get.
Well,
Yeah.
I guess the more of these you do, you're going to discover what constitutes a good score or not.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. So let's discuss what kind of race or what race this was.
All right. What's your guess, Lisa Marie?
The outlaw.
No,
No?
not Outlaw.
Oh my goodness.
No, it didn't rain for 20 solid hours at Outlaw.
Oh, I don't know that. I mean, it's snowed, it's blizzard, it's ice stormed.
Yeah. But fortunately, it didn't rain that many hours solid. This race was actually Lake Murray Endurance Run.
Really?
Oh,
Yes. Blaze Trail is the RD group that runs that race.
Wow.
Just outside of Ardmore, Oklahoma, if I remember right.
Yeah.
So it's on basically the Texas-Oklahoma border. That's Oklahoma's largest state park.
Wow.
Learned later on.
And this one you're going around the lake, or you just kind of going around and coming upon the lake and going back up?
The single track trail pretty much looped out around and stayed on the west side of the lake. So it was and this was back in 2023, and my memory's getting shorter as the older I get. But I want to say there was 3 main aid stations. So it was kind of loops with out and backs scattered here and there, and then they had a 5-mile, what they called the 5-mile race loop. After you got back to the start finish line, you left out of there on this second loop. My understanding is this past year in 2024, they couldn't utilize that loop and had to move the start finish line to a different place. So I don't know how that affected the entirety of the race, but I do know that in 2024 they did not have a single drop of rain. So that race has been well known since they started it as Muddy Murray.
Of course, of course.
And last year, you could say it didn't live up to its reputation. So
Yeah.
the following years are going to be.
I would have given that a 5 on the race versus description score.
You would
If there was no mud.
Nutty Murray, and it rains 20 hours is definitely a 10, man. Definitely a 10.
What year did you run this?
2023 in
Oh,
October.
okay, that's not that far back.
Oh, that's like during fall tornado season
Yeah.
Yeah.
or hurricane season and all that weather pushing up.
It would be more like it, yes. But yeah, overall, I definitely recommend that anybody give that race a try.
Okay.
Well, now I'd like
Now
to
it's on
know,
our radar.
yeah, I would like to know about your DNF. I mean, how did that feel? Do you have a little
I was so happy. I was so happy.
It's so
Yeah.
polar opposite than most people.
I mean, you've been out there in that rain for 20 hours, and that was a final cutoff. You had to leave that last aid station on the race loop. Um, I want to say around 1 a.m. maybe. And it
Okay.
was 3 a.m. when I hit it. So I was 2 hours past that cutoff.
I always see.
So for an idea, there were 3 human beings that finished that race.
Oh, one of those.
3. 31 of us DNF'd it.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So that's a 90% drop.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
I mean, it was horrendous. And I still, to be honest with you, I saw one of the 3 finishers running at one point, and I'm like, that dude is so fast. He doesn't sink in the mud. He just stays right on top. You seen those little lizards that get up
Yeah. Yeah.
lickety split? I think that was how he was doing it.
Wow. Okay.
So what was the first thing you did when you were done? Did you do a happy dance? Did you go and just like, it's time to eat. I'm one sandwich from death.
I grabbed some food, got out of the wet, nasty clothes and the nasty, muddy shoes. Took me a little nap in the car, warmed up, and then I took off down the highway to go see my granddaughter and my daughter over in the Tulsa area.
Okay.
And so along the way, I managed to get some more food. You know how that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Just
deserve.
curious.
Um,
When you're on your way home, what are you stopping to eat? Is it McDonald's? Is it?
Well, it totally depends on what time it is when I finish a race. One of my absolute favorite meals after a 100-miler is breakfast.
Okay.
Pancakes,
I can get that.
meat, omelet,
Bacon.
Bacon.
carbs, bacon.
Yeah.
So I've done that. I mean, in a dire emergency, if it's the middle of the night and nothing else is open, a drive-through for one of the fast food joints is okay. I have had Chinese hot pot for a 100-miler with my wife. That was kind of more of a treat for her.
Yeah.
For going along and crewing and pacing, or not pacing, but crewing me and putting up with those shenanigans on those kind of trips. Um,
It does take a lot of support if your family doesn't run.
yeah, I'm pretty much equal opportunity when it comes to food, though.
Good.
Okay.
So what is next for you? What is on your radar?
I think right now, I coming off of 5 months recovery from a sciatic nerve issue. Started running 3 weeks ago. I'm building back up slowly.
All right.
I think I'll use Flat Rock April race as a training, long run, uh, and then kind of see what else I can fit in after that. The big hairy monster on the horizon is a Cowboy 200.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is late September and will be my first 200 miler.
I've heard it's going to be full of celebrities this year.
I looked at the list and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're probably right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they head out to Nebraska and
Just,
You just can't imagine how you could possibly get that many people to go traipse across Nebraska
I know. But it's so interesting.
straight line.
yeah.
Yeah, because it's very interesting when you're running because you're looking at you're looking to your left, flat field. You're looking to your right, there's another flat field.
But he would know he's from Kansas.
Yeah, but that's not Nebraska.
To be like here at home,
Yeah.
Yeah,
not an issue. The only thing different about that for me is going to be I'm not going to have my dog with me.
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty much going to be the same.
We'd like to interview Mud at some point.
Well, right now he's asleep on the floor at my feet.
Okay,
He doesn't have much to say.
No.
he's probably still upset he didn't go to play in the mud with you.
He
And make
would
my
love that.
yeah,
Guarantee you.
he could have dragged you up the hill.
So is there anything else you would want
Up the hill.
up the hill? Is there anything that you would like to have anyone know? Just, maybe some general advice about ultra running, or maybe there's a product out there you just like, you have to use this and go check it out, or
Well, I think the single most important trait as an ultra runner you can have is you have to be too dumb to quit.
agreed.
Yes,
That's how you finish races.
Mm-hmm.
and then always bring a bag of humor.
Yes.
Yep.
And most generally, you'll pass out before you die.
Yeah. You just get on the trail, take a nap, get up and go along.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Seen it work miracles. No, it really is a sport that is accessible to almost anybody.
It is.
Mind. People like to say, "Oh, I could never do that," but I will tell them, "Oh, yes, you can."
Well, I was one of those people.
Seen it.
I was one of those
Been
people.
at races where we have seen people that, it was their first time. They didn't think they could get it done, and they did.
Yeah.
And that is always makes it a lot of fun to see.
It does.
I love watching people finish their first one. I think that is the greatest gift. I mean, as you know, we can cross the line, but watching that person come across and then cry those tears, it's like,
Yeah.
because we were there once. Yeah. And of course, I like watching you run. I've used your method all the time, the Hagerty method.
Well, seems to work for me at least.
Yep.
Or if it works for you, you're covering some big miles doing it that way.
Yeah. And we also realized that usually you get a rebound on day 5 when you're running these 6-day races.
Well,
It's very strange. It's very strange. It's like
find that out.
You will.
you will. You should join us at Across the
You
Years.
should come to Across the Years. I am about 50 miles away from my 1,000. You can come run the 6 days and
Across the Years looks pretty good. The new venue looks a little bit harsh, but
It is.
it is.
the race that is at the exact same time that really caught my attention is Snowdrop 55 down at
Mm.
About that. A lot of people
that
enjoyed that.
race. Looks like that would be really cool to go to, and
Yeah.
it's such a great cause that they hold that race.
Yeah. And everyone I've seen that did it talking highly about it.
Yeah.
And if you've ever seen that buckle, it is fan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's on my radar.
Yeah.
So now we want a 1,000-mile jacket.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, when you're that close, you're gonna nail that one down. But
Is there anything else you would like to plug out there, throw out there, encourage a new runner? This is about you. You're the hero.
yeah, I'm the hero.
You are.
There are a lot of good companies out there backing ultra running and endurance. There's a lot of new companies out there.
Yeah.
I am very equal opportunity when it comes to race fuel. I use a lot of recipe that I found on the internet and make my own. I use Hammer products. They are pretty much the exclusive gel that I use. If I'm going to buy gels, I know that they work really well, and I know the flavors that I like. I've been at races where, Ultra versus Proxima C was the fuel offered as liquid fuel at the aid stations.
Yeah.
And it has always worked really well for me.
Well, if it ain't broken.
And I've even suffered through some Gatorade here and there.
Yeah. Oh, we've done that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have one final question for you, Scott. So, what is the meaning with the? How important to you is the family? I know that your family gathers around at most of your races. Your mom, your dad, your wife, your daughter, your grandkids. I know they're all there supporting. I know sometimes they look at you and go, "How you do this?" But how important is that to you? Even if they're calling you crazy, even
now
your
it's
dog.
something to say.
Bud woke up.
How important is that family?
Family is very important. My first ultra was a 50K that I finished with both daughters and one of my son-in-laws. We all did the same race together as a group, our first ultra race. I think my youngest daughter at that point swore off ultra races after that. She thinks they're dumb. But she has also ran about 6 full marathons, which she thinks are great. So I don't that line of thought. My oldest daughter, I've had a lot of fun running a few different races with her, and as her life and family matures, I look forward to hopefully getting to do some more races with her and her husband. Uh, as I said, my wife every once in a while will crew for me at a race. That always makes the trip more interesting and more fun.
Oh, yeah.
It throws in a different vibe to an event when you have to worry about somebody's comfort
It does.
and
That
well-being while you're out there running the race. I think anybody, you know, if you got a bunch of butthole friends out there crewing and pacing you, you don't worry about them because they know what they signed up for and they know what it's all about.
they can just laugh at you. Like,
When it's your non-sport spouse, you tend to think about that a little bit more. And so I always invite her to go along to any race that I'm doing to tag along. I don't expect her to crew me at every race because a lot of them, the navigational part of it is not something she would enjoy at all, getting from aid station to aid station. But if I'm doing a timed event where she can set up in one place and then go to a hotel at night and get some sleep in comfort, um, I am absolutely more than happy for her to be there.
Yeah.
yeah.
Me out and experience that environment. My parents, they're just crazy. When I ran Honey Badger, finished it at like 5 in the morning or whatever it was. They drove out there in the middle of the night to be there when I finished. I think that was really kind of special that they were there. And of course, my wife and the grandkids were there as well. But, family is the reason we do a lot of the things we do. And family is the reason I got into ultra running to make myself more healthy and hopefully live a longer, more enjoyable life and have those adventures with different adventures with my family and be able to do things with my grandkids that as we age a lot of people tend to quit doing. So
That's true.
That's true. Very true.
I don't want to quit doing those things.
No.
No.
I don't see that happening.
Grandkids into doing them with me as well. maybe.
Oh, the fact that you got injured for so long and now you're working hard to come back. It's just
What's that?
they. I say the fact that you got injured for so long and you're now working on coming back to ultra running instead of just giving up. I think that's great.
Thank you. It gave me a different perspective on things. When you go through a 5 month layoff to recover from any injury, you have your ups and downs. You kind of get introspective on things, and you know,
Yeah.
I looked at it like I do have other interests that I can pursue if I ran my last step. I had days where I felt like I would never be able to run again. And then I had days where I had no doubt that I would be able to run again. And fortunately, those days were more than the others. Being familiar and being able to take advantage of riding my bicycle out here on the gravel roads and getting in some gravel time helped me maintain my cardio side
Yeah.
of my fitness. And fortunately, the winter was open enough to be able to do that several different times. Now I just have to figure out how to fit everything together so that I can be a little bit more rounded and pursue some different things as well as continue the ultra running adventures.
Right.
Right. Well, there's always Iron Man.
Not Ironman. Swimming is stupid. I hate it. I live in western Kansas. We don't typically have much water out here.
That is true.
And I just don't want to learn how to swim
Fair enough. I don't
any
want
better
to
than I already can.
or swim.
My idea of swimming would be standing in water up to my chest with a beer.
The best kind of swimming.
Yes, that's the way you do it.
And with enough empty bottles or cans, you can float on them.
Take them to the trash so they don't end up in the lake. But no, there's some really awesome. I mean, there's Eastern Kansas. There's 550-mile gravel bike race.
Oh, wow.
That is really intriguing.
Yeah.
I'll crew ya.
It's the same weekend as Cowboy this year.
Oh,
Oh,
no, I can't crew you.
oh, he can't bike it either.
No, you can't. I can't crew you.
I think the guy that is putting that race on is committed to it enough to keep it going for years to go. So, there may be a time when I can dedicate the time to figure out how to do something like that. But until then, I'm going to continue the ultra running as long as I can.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
I'm sure we'll see you out there.
we will.
Definitely at Flat Rock.
Sooner
And
rather
Cowboy.
than later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So get those running shorts on.
They're on.
They're on.
It's out there right now.
And we will see you in a few weeks.
We will.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for coming on and share about this wonderful race.
And I'd like to talk to you again, have you back on after the Cowboy 200. I really would love to hear that story.
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do it.
All right.
Well, have a good evening.
Bye.
Bye.
Peace out.
So